Hey, what's the good word, guys? DKB here. So I tried to make this quick. Didn't even want to do a video today because it's the little man's birthday, but I was definitely shocked when I got the news that the Steelers picked up Jonathan Marshall from our practice squad, the defensive tackle that we drafted in 2021. The Steelers did this because their defensive tackle, Chris Wormley, confirmed ACL injury versus this loss that they suffered to the Ravens. Now, to go back in history a little bit, Jonathan Marshall, again, our sixth-round draft pick in 2021, his highlight, when you take a look at his scouting report, was that he had one of the most elite combine pro day RAS scores in the last 30 plus years. 1,290 prospects at least that they have recorded for RAS scores dating back to 1987. Jonathan Marshall scored a 9.99. The scale only goes to 10. And the RAS score basically determines what position you play, size, weight, etc. On an even scale, how do guys stack up? And Jonathan Marshall was the second highest guy, essentially, in 30 plus years. Now, one of the other things is that I remember asking myself, if this guy is so elite athletically, what about him makes him a fifth round pick? Was it behavior issues, production, etc.? You go back and look at it. Coming out of Arkansas, a lot of people said he was misused, underplayed. He was a one-year starter. And there was lack of sack production. You can't even necessarily say he was elite in any one area, and maybe that was due to not having the opportunities and, again, being misused. But JD also said, in the sixth round is pretty much a toss-up anyways, but he loved his burst off the line. He loved the passion that you can see on tape. That was good enough for me, kind of hearing all of these things and not knowing that there was a negative in terms of motor issues and things like that. This is a absolute steal for the Steelers, in my opinion. This was a guy that I was hoping this preseason was able to find himself on the 53-man roster, and arguably he should have. We know now that Nathan Shepard ended up winning instead, in addition to having Solomon Thomas, which, based off reputation, I guess you can say, found himself onto the roster. And the only other criticism I could probably put out there is that if Jonathan Marshall was truly turning the corner, we would have given him opportunities instead of Tanzel Smart when we were choosing somebody we wanted to move up during the Sheldon Rankins absence. But outside of that, I would argue that he definitely beat Nathan Shepard during the preseason. Robert Saleh and the coaching staff may have an affinity for Shepard, but he's just not a production guy necessarily in terms of filling stat sheets, really. I don't want to say it's necessarily a waste, and there's something to be said about being able to wear down a defense, even if a guy isn't able to hit home and get tackles for loss and all those kind of things. But the whole point of having a defensive line rotation essentially is that you're not losing huge gaps in talent and production. And while Nathan Shepard may have the work ethic and he may go out there and he is putting guys through the ringer, as Robert Saleh would say, it's not the same thing as having a guy like a Sheldon Rankins when Quentin Williams goes out and things like that. So I would have much preferred to see Jonathan Marshall, but that's whatever. Definitely a huge pickup by the Steelers. Jonathan Marshall was a huge multiple piece of clay, in my opinion. I would have loved to see him get some playing time, but best of luck to him. I'm definitely hoping that he balls out with these next couple weeks that he has with the Steelers. Granted, he'll be learning a new system. He'll be in more of a 3-4, I believe, than a 4-3. So there's going to be some small adjustments there, but irregardless, huge opportunity for him. I'm only hoping that we find a way to be able to go out and grab him again and at least give him an opportunity during the next preseason. But it's going to be hard to replace a guy of this quality on our practice squad this late in the season. So we'll see what kind of move Joe Douglas makes. I'm expecting that maybe we go back and grab an offensive lineman or something. At this point, we need options A through Z there. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Was this a huge pickup by the Steelers and a miss by the Jets? Granted, there's nothing we could have done other than move him to the active roster, or do you not really care about Jonathan Marshall's absence on the team and potentially being able to fight for a spot next year? Appreciate the support as always, guys, and I'll catch you again. Peace.